We're going to start the show in a few minutes. The Black Friday edition of the program. And I'm going to cover, of course, this terrorist attack in D.C. And make no mistake about it, it was a terrorist attack. And we will be taking calls. Just let me finish setting up here, and then we'll get going. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. It's 59 degrees here in South Florida, which is freezing for us. All right, let me do a sound check. All right, let me do a... Okay, perfection. All right, I'm going to be playing a lot of audio and video. So guys, to hear the audio and see the video and the images I show, you have to go to my main live stream, which is linked in the description of the video. And if you want to call in, the number is pinned right there in the stream. All right, I'm going to start the main stream now, and we'll get started. Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. We got a lot to cover, and of course, what I'm going to begin with is this terrorist attack in Washington, D.C., the day before Thanksgiving. In fact, mostly being called a shooting, not a terrorist attack. It's an Islamic terror attack, but it's also something much deeper, in my opinion, which I'm going to share my thoughts about that with you. And of course, the female National Guardsman didn't make it. Sarah Breckstrom, she did not make it. Just a sad thing. I mean, young girl. The president spoke. Let me share this with you, and then I'll tell you what I think happened, and then invite you to call and share your thoughts. Okay. Wow, it's sad. We lost a U.S. soldier right here on U.S. soil. When's the last time that's happened? I'm going to tell you what I think happened here. And you are welcome to share your thoughts as to whether or not you agree or disagree. But I think that this is more than a terrorist attack or even an Islamic terrorist attack. I think this is now. It's a holiday weekend. There's not been a lot of analysis of this. The people that are filling in on television are not the regular people. And most of the influencers like me are taking the weekend off. I was going to take today off too, but I wanted to share my thoughts when I found out that Sarah had passed and didn't make it. I felt that we had to talk about it. I think this is a deep state op that happened in Washington, D.C. This terrorist that did it, they said worked with the CIA in Afghanistan. And it looks like he had himself a pretty good life over here where they set him up. And I think this is part of what I've dubbed the Bring Back Bush operation that the deep state has put in place. And this operation began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And what I think they were doing, we had that deep state video that came out with the Congress people, but what was it, about a week and a half ago now? I've lost track of when it came out. So much has been going on. And they were, and I'm going to go through some of the audio as the show goes on from some of these people. But some of the Congress people involved had been warning for quite some time that there was going to be an incident with the National Guard, and of course there hasn't been one. The National Guard have not been involved in policing or deportations. They've just been there as a presence. Federal agents, federal law enforcement have been handling all of that. But I think they were trying to start another Kent State-like incident. And if you are not familiar with Kent State, you're probably a Democrat. But so I'm not going to explain everything with Kent State, although I'm going to make some references to it. Well, we haven't gotten all the details of what happened in the incident yet. So I'm not going to go through those yet until we get all of the details of the shootout. But they got the guy, right? The terrorist, deep state operative, whatever he is, they got him, and he was wounded. So whoever took him down, I'm not sure who yet. Has that been confirmed? If it has been confirmed and I've missed it, please let me know. And if you want to call in about this and you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. If you're watching on the live stream with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video, you got to go to my main stream. My main live stream is linked in the description of the video with the green wall behind me. And they took him down, and they had, with accuracy, obviously, after he murdered Sarah and shot the other soldier. So the National Guard handled this properly, but this is no doubt in my mind a deep state operation. And in Kent State, what happened at Kent State with the National Guard, the National Guard were attacked by those students, I know you won't see that on the documentaries about it and the history books that are written about the Vietnam War protest era. When they get into Kent State, you would just be led to believe that the guardsmen at Kent State, just for no reason at all, mowed down those students. And it was a tragedy, don't misunderstand me. But the students did attack the guardsmen at Kent State. Okay, they were throwing things at them and everything else. I'm not justifying what happened. I'm not defending it or attacking anybody on either side, but the same people behind the Vietnam War protest movement are behind everything that's going on now. Don't you understand? The Vietnam protest movement was fake. It was 100% fake. The entire protest movement in the Vietnam War was organized by political agitators trying to do all kinds of things. And they attacked and were throwing things at the guardsmen at Kent State, and they fired. And I think they were trying to create another Kent State in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Because, that area is where all the tourists go, because it's down the street from the White House. Everyone who goes to Washington, D.C. as a tourist goes to the White House. And, I was planning on going or thinking about it. The hotel rooms are outrageously expensive, but I was planning on going to D.C. with my daughter for the 4th of July, and we were looking at staying in a hotel room in that area because, you're walking distance from the White House. But I don't know if I want to take my daughter there. I don't know if it's safe to go for 4th of July weekend. I don't know. But I do know this. When Peter Strzok and his girlfriend in their text messages were going against Trump, remember what Page said, Lisa Page, who's facing indictment with one of the Pam Bondi grand juries? She said she went out and got a copy of All the President's Men, and that was their guidebook. Isn't that something? And remember what the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to say, that the Democrats, they always run the same plays. They have that old worn-out playbook. Well, part of that playbook has been political assassinations, whether it's President Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, the attempt on the President Trump in Butler, Charlie Kirk in Utah, and Kent State, and this, to me, looks like an attempt to create another Kent State. Look, these crooked Congress people, two of them have direct ties to the deep state. The first, I want to go through some stuff as we go on. By the way, I'm taking off today on the radio, so you're only going to get me here on the podcast and on YouTube. It'll be a best of on the radio today. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones in a moment. If the way that this went down turned into a firefight, tourists could have been killed. And what would be going on today if civilians had been killed by guardsmen in a firefight, right? But these Congress people, we got one from the CIA, the other lady is from Naval Intelligence, and her husband was the national security advisor to Otto Penn Biden. And I think there's been a consensus, certainly at least among MAGA, among conservatives, that video that the Congress people put out, the sedition video, was a deep state op, right? Most conservatives agree with that. We've been talking about it for a week. And this incident in D.C. on Wednesday fulfills the warning they gave us in the video and before and after they made the video. All right, I'll take some calls. Your thoughts on this, but I do believe this was a deep state op that was an attempt to create a Kent State-like situation. That's my thoughts. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Well, Brian, it's not such a good morning. I mean, to see a baby. She was a baby, 20 years old, beautiful young lady, just get... Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I listened to him mention the name. His name is Chuck Holton. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen him?
No.
All right. He had some inside information. He said, first of all, somebody.
Hold on, Richie. Let me answer. I'm going to answer the phones because they're ringing off the hook. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Richie. What was the inside?
Yeah.
Info? When she was shot, and the other guy was shot, somebody ran up to this guy and stabbed him in the head because he didn't have a weapon. And then I think it was a captain or a major came out and shot him twice. Yeah. Once in the buttocks and once in the leg. Mm. So that's how he got shot. That hasn't been confirmed yet. We don't. I've seen some of that. But
I know.
I'm waiting till we get the confirmation on, because I want credit to be given where it's due. If that's what happened, that's good. It's all good. I mean, but that just hasn't been confirmed yet.
Chuck Holden said that I believe he was in Afghanistan at one point. He's very credible. He has a lot of people on the inside. He said that these people. First of all, he says there was back in Afghanistan, the soldiers. You could trust these people that work with the United States government, with the soldiers up to a point, and then you couldn't trust them when they turned on.
If you remember, SEAL Team 6 that took Bin Laden out was taken down because. First, Obama stupidly told the world what SEAL Team did it, but Afghan soldiers told Al-Qaeda what helicopter they were on, what they were flying on SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
So the Afghans betrayed us there. But I believe that this was more than a terrorist attack. I believe this was part of the operation that was behind the congressman's video.
All right, here's the deal. He said, real quick, he said, you couldn't even take a shower without a pistol because you couldn't trust these people. You could trust them until you can't trust them.
Yeah.
I believe that this was, as being a lone wolf, absolutely wasn't a lone wolf. The guy stayed with these very rich liberals that sponsored him and his family. You know about that.
Yeah.
They had a $3.5 million house or something compound, and they hate Trump. They hated Trump. They were, as a matter of fact, on her website, she had sorrows on her website.
Yeah.
She was in a march, No Kings.
Yeah.
And she was a very big activist. Crazy old kook.
No, there's no doubt.
This guy flew all the way from Washington. He's got a wife. He's staying on a wife and 5 kids. He flew across country, and the reason this happened at this particular point, the holiday, they wanted to send a message, just like when the World Trade Center was hit and the Pentagon was hit, and was a message.
This is the thing. This time of year, Thanksgiving weekend, it's a 4-day weekend. Everyone in Washington that works is off. The only people, for the most part, that are in that part of Washington this weekend are tourists.
Right.
And because nobody's working. Because the government shut down, right? So it's mostly tourists,
right?
And I think they were trying to cause a mass bloodbath. And luckily it didn't turn out that way. But that's what they were trying to do. They wanted civilians to be killed. They wanted by the way, by guardsmen in a firefight.
Right, and they also wanted to make people like you and myself and the rest of the American people who were celebrating Thanksgiving, ruin their Thanksgiving and send a message that no matter what we do, we can't stop them. President Trump has to deport every damn one of them.
Well,
every one of them.
What's going on here is they wanted to trigger an incident where guardsmen were responsible for friendly fire and the death of civilians in Washington, D.C. That's exactly what they were trying to do.
But he picked Washington. He could have picked any city at any time. This was a message sent to all of us Americans celebrating the most.
All right, I'm gonna move on, Richie. But I don't need to hear what somebody else said on another show. If I want, I'll get the transcript. All right. I think that's what was going on here, in my opinion. Okay. Insofar as the guardsmen, here we've got guardsmen. D.C. is the center of guard activity in American cities. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? Good morning. My name is Garrett. I'm from New Jersey.
Garrett in New Jersey. What's on your mind?
So I spent 12 years in the Marine Corps, and I may have a little bit of insight on this stuff just from my experience. And really, I believe this comes down to 2 things that were consistent in my career that I saw. U.S. aid and Halliburton. They were consistent. And everywhere I went, every armpit of the world. And again, I'm right with you on this, and that this is a deep state. This is all planned.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put it bluntly, this is all planned. And it really is a squeeze on the finances of these folks. And they're using a lot of these, figureheads and politicians and things and cause chaos simply because the jig seems to be up. and the financial pipeline is
well, see,
maybe coming to a close.
USAID is like a deep state CIA slush fund. That's what was funding all the deep state activities around the world, was USAID. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. And that was a consistent thing. You saw it on all sides, right? From the folks that we were working with, that we were green lighting, and green lighting means when you're working with the Afghanis or you're working with the Iraqis.
See, to get back to what happened in D.C., you have 12 years of military experience, right? You said Marines, right? You're a Marine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This girl here is 20 years old, National Guard, young, I believe it was, as soon as I heard this guy had worked with the CIA, and you put it with that congressional video 2 weeks ago, deep state op, to try to get a firefight going where there would be a friendly fire incident and guardsmen would end up killing civilians on the streets of Washington, that would turn opinion against Trump's actions. And everything they've done, it's total right out of the CIA manual. Everything they've done against President Trump is to always try to turn public opinion against him.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This all tracks. It's all about causing chaos. It's insurgent behavior.
Yeah.
It's insurgency within our country to again getting things sparked up on both sides.
With your experience, with your Marine experience, why do you view this like I do? That this was a deep state op in D.C. Why do you see it that way? I'm a layman compared to you, right?
Again, yeah. I mean, as a layman or as a military person, if you're thinking logically in any way, you break it down to its core components. Follow the money, Brian. Let's. And as soon as President Trump and Doge and all these things that really looking into where all this funding is going, and all these different programs, again they spread misinformation on many different levels, and they make it seem like a lot of these programs were necessary or were being run efficiently, and we found the inefficiencies here. We've been able to get to the root cause of where this money is going, and it can't be hidden anymore. We've got the technology now that can go through tons of databases. It can learn things. The jig is up, and this is the final squeeze.
Yep.
And essentially, this is just to cause chaos for the midterms, so they can re-implement all this nonsense that they've lost.
All right, I appreciate the call. You added a lot. Call me again sometime.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
All right,
Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. All right. Yeah, I was going to take the whole weekend off, and I wasn't going to return until Monday. At my wife's urging. My wife's still sleeping. We had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you guys did too. But when I saw that she had passed away, this soldier was gunned down in the streets of our nation's capital, I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about it. So I very much want to hear your thoughts. If you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. I will not be on the radio today. There will be a best of on the radio. But this will be the podcast episode for today. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get podcasts, just search for The Brian Craig Show. I'll come up. And if you want to catch the show live in video format, YouTube or YouTube Music, Brian Craig Show there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Yeah. I look at it like this. Think about this. What was a few weeks back or whatever, there was a Never Trumper strategy session that masqueraded as Dick Cheney's funeral, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so could this have been something that was talked about at that strategy session?
I don't know. I don't know if it was done on that level or not. That's a thought, Mike. I want to take a quick break. When we come back, there's more to share. It's the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian. Back after this. those of you that are watching with the green wall, to see and hear all the video and audio I play, go to my main stream, which is linked in the description. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast where MAGA comes to talk. So, of course, this CIA terrorist from Afghanistan came with the fall of Afghanistan, with however many unvetted people that Otto Penn Biden brought. And the late, great Charlie Kirk on his radio program and podcast gave us a warning about this. Listen, this is Charlie Kirk. Yeah, oh boy, Charlie Kirk right on the money, huh? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, really?
Yep, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Don't be so surprised. You called, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh, no, that's cool. My name is Brian Sabuni. I'm from Rochester, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a right-winger myself. I do applaud Trump for some of the stuff that he's done. It's actually pretty surprising. I didn't know. I don't think I've been on a live stream.
Well, what do you think was going to happen when you called?
Oh, I didn't know how many people were.
Well, I can put you back on hold if you want. I mean, you know.
Oh no, it's all fine. I saw I saw you mentioned the right before you picked up. I saw you talked about a little bit. You mentioned a little bit about the terrorist attack that happened the other day.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about.
Very, very horrible. Yeah, very horrible stuff, honestly.
You know, you said something that was a little I've never heard someone say before in your call.
Oh, what was that?
You said you're a right-winger too.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I have never, in my over 35 years of doing a live show, taking live calls, heard a conservative refer to themselves as a right-winger. That right-winger, I don't know,
really?
Right-winger is, it's used as an insult.
Oh, really? I mean, I never.
That's what
really
liberals call us.
Really
Liberals call us right. We call ourselves conservatives, Republican, MAGA, deplorables.
I never really see.
I'm going to answer some of these. Hold on a second here while I answer these phones. It's just, are you new to being a conservative, or you've been a conservative for a long time?
Oh no, I've been a conservative for quite a while. I mean, at first,
what's quite a while?
2018, back in 2018, I first started supporting Trump, but socially, I was way more liberal then. I never saw a right winger. I never saw a right winger as an insult.
It's almost
I generally
it's
do
kind
see
of like
myself.
it's kind of like the N-word for Republicans. It's kind of like one of those things. Yeah, you don't call.
I disagree.
Oh no, it is. It's used that way. It's used in that context. That's what liberals that hate us call us, right wingers.
Well, I don't see a problem being called a right winger.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just an unusual thing for a Republican to refer to themselves as a right winger. That would almost be like a liberal trying to pretend and pass themselves off as a Republican might call themselves a right winger, but it's just a very.
I don't see it. Mm-hmm. I don't see it as an insult. I actually think it the right wing position is a true position. I think we should embrace that.
I
never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw it as something insulting, and I've never heard any other Republicans or social conservatives see it as an insult.
I have never, ever heard a Republican, a conservative, refer to themselves as a right winger. Mm-mm. That that's kind of like it's kind of like sometimes liberals will call us Trumpers. We don't call ourselves Trumpers. That's an insult too. No.
Oh yeah.
We don't call ourselves.
Oh yeah,
Trumpers.
definitely. I would never. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call themselves a Trumper
or a right winger.
Unironically.
Mm.
Well,
you used to be a liberal. So what was Trump's position that woke you up and red-pilled you?
When I say liberal, I'm talking more as a socially liberal.
What does that
mean? Not as much of a socially liberal means basically not really upholding traditional values, not caring that much about Christianity. Thinking another one example, thinking our country is just a melting pot, essentially.
It is.
And
it is a melting pot.
What? How do you define melting pot? Do you see
when I was
basically
melting,
Americans?
Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
Do you see America not being a do you see America just being an idea, not just its own nation? Essentially,
what America is a country, right? The United States of America. We're a country that and
Absolutely.
So what makes a country a country?
Its own people and identity.
Well, Michael Savage, he sums it up pretty quick, right? Michael Savage. You know who Michael Savage is?
I think I've heard of him.
Okay, borders. Right, you got to have borders to have a. There's three things. This is not the only three things, but these are three things Michael Savage says make a country. Borders, right? You got to have borders. No border. If you don't have, President Trump says this. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country, right? Borders. The second is language. You have to have a common language, right? Which is English, right? And then the third is culture. Borders, language, culture. So America, the United States of America.
Great.
Okay. So what makes us a melting pot is that no matter and this is when people use the term the American experiment, they don't mean just democracy. They mean about the melting pot. See, in America, America is a very unique country. There's no other country as great as this one, even close. No matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, if you immigrate here legally and become a U.S. citizen, you're an American. However, we got to have our borders, our common language, and our culture. And the melting pot is where the culture comes in. Like on my mother's side, two of my great-grandparents are from Greece. They came here in the 1890s, right?
Oh, really?
And my...
Amen. That's great.
Okay, so my, President Trump's is, a lot of people don't know this, but maybe you don't. President Trump is a first-generation American. Did you know that? A first-generation American? Did you know that?
Didn't I thought his grandfather immigrated here.
Well, everybody's grandfather may have, if you go back far enough.
Or
no, his mother.
I don't remember.
His mother is an immigrant from Scotland.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, of course. I mean, Scotland.
So
Trump.
No, so hold on. But with President Trump, do you hear any Scottish accent or Scottish? He's an American, right?
Of course not. Of course not. He grew up in New York City. So
in fact, all of Trump's children, all of President Trump's children, except for Tiffany, okay, her mother was Marla Maples. All of Trump's children, except for Tiffany Trump, are also first-generation Americans because their mothers were from other countries. As an example, Barron Trump's mother is Melania, who's from, is it Slovenia, right? She has a very heavy accent. But Barron, right. But if you hear Barron, he doesn't have an accent. See, all of the, right. President Trump, all of his children except Tiffany are first-generation Americans. Their mothers were all legal immigrants to the United States, but they're American. They're not Slovenian. Or where was Ivana from? Czechoslovakia or whatever? Scotland. You know what I mean? That's the melting pot. That's what you want. You don't want people coming over here and bringing their third world cultures and setting up shop and turning civilized places in America into third world hellholes like Dearborn, Michigan.
Right. And, as a European people, European immigrants are usually, to an extent, easily to assimilate into. But I disagree with just that having.
What other immigrants cannot easily assimilate? What other immigrants can't easily assimilate? You said European. That means whites, right? What else? You mean like Hispanics, like the Latin Americans?
They may be not that easy to assimilate.
Well, they're of European descent too, Spain and Portugal are Europe, so the South Americans are of European descent as well.
That is true, but the American founding stock mainly is Anglo, Germanic.
Well, this country was settled by Europeans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's why I think just the mere definition of America or of America as a nation just being defined, it having borders, just mere culture.
Borders, language, culture.
What else did you mention?
Borders, language,
culture.
Borders,
language, culture. Yes. It's also a people. There used to be a common people. One of the founding fathers actually mentioned this. And now you are right. America as a nation initially is diverse. Like, it has its own subgroups of Americans, but there is a common thread, and this includes Black Americans too, because Black Americans do share that European ancestry, and they were basically a unique subculture that came that arose out of the soil of the U.S. essentially. And I do not see Black American culture as the same as, say,
Sure. You know, first off, you're wrong. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, we have a tradition in my family. On Thanksgiving, we watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I love that. We watch it every year. My wife and I, and my daughter. You know, and yes, you know, and if you watch the things, you say they don't have the same. Black Americans don't have the same. They do this thing at the Macy's Thanksgiving where they have cast of Broadway shows perform, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on, you know. That year they did Kinky Boots, wasn't so good. But one of the Broadway shows that performed at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday was Ragtime, which is on Broadway. Ragtime is about black culture in the early 20th century. You know, you got the Harlem Renaissance and things like this. No, there's African-American, there's great African-American culture that we have here. It's just that liberals like you have been brainwashed into thinking things.
Why are you calling me a liberal? I'm not a liberal.
Everything you've said is liberal.
How does that make me a liberal? I was saying America has its own people.
No, you were taking issue.
We deserve our own
people. From your first comment when you described yourself as a right winger. And then when you were taking issue with the melting pot concept, America being...
I don't understand how that would make me a liberal. Yeah. And also, if I was, I don't know how me disagreeing with melting pot or with the whole...
Well, that's part of that. The melting pot...
would make me a liberal.
The great American...
Liberals always bring up the melting pot. What are you talking about?
The great American melting pot is one of the things that makes America special, unique, and the greatest country that's ever existed on this earth.
Yeah, but the term melting pot is used by liberals and progressives to justify mass immigration.
No, what the liberals teach is this tossed salad concept that America is made up of individual pieces that are different, not a big... A melting pot is like a pot of soup. You can put everything in the soup and it's all one thing. They don't like that. They like people being divided. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. Welcome to the show, and call me again sometime, all right? We had a good conversation. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll be right back. If you're watching with the green wall, to see and hear all the audio and video, go to my main stream, which is linked in the description. Okay, do you guys think he was a liberal? What do you guys think? All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and for those of you that are wondering, on the radio will be a best of today. So I was going to take the whole weekend off, and my wife wanted me to take off till Monday, which I was going to do, but because the female guardsman passed away from this deep state terrorist attack in D.C., I felt compelled to come and share my thoughts. That last caller, what do you guys think? Was he a liberal or a right-winger? What do you guys think? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
My name's Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph.
I'm getting a little bit of echo. Hold on. Let me walk away from my computer.
Yeah. You just mute the computer, and that would take care of it.
Or that.
All right. What's on your mind?
My name's Joseph, and I'm from Indiana.
All right, Joseph.
I'm a conservative Christian.
Uh-huh.
The echo's still kind of messing with me. Hold on. I'm
Mute
gonna
the
my
computer. Yeah, mute the computer.
Man, you get started early.
Mm-hmm. You did mute the computer. All right, I'm gonna move on because I got a lot to do here, and I don't have time to play
All right,
around.
now I can hear you now. I'm sorry.
All right. It's your third. You got 2 strikes. against her.
So basically, I think if you're here, you should assimilate. I mean, if you're not here to assimilate, then I don't know if you should be here, honestly.
If you immigrate to America, you should, want to be an American, and being an American is not, turning Dearborn,
right,
Michigan, or New York City into your thing. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right. So the president, he had a press conference yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, and I tell people often. I've been in this room at Mar-a-Lago where the president is at right here, and I tell this to people a lot. And anyone who's been there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anytime you see Mar-a-Lago on video like this on television, it does not do it justice. When you go in there and you see the walls and the gold, I tell people if the French kings live today, they live at Mar-a-Lago. It is so majestic and beautiful, and it doesn't look 10% as good as it looks in person on video. But anyway, he had this press conference yesterday at the White House. Mm-hmm. That's right. I love it. This is so good. This is so good. Are you stupid? Yeah, she is stupid, Mr. President. Oh, let me rewind it. This is beautiful. Isn't it? It's so... I'm going to rewind it. We'll play the whole thing there, uninterrupted. It brings a tear to my eye. It really does. And I'm not talking about figuratively. To have a president who's for us, not others. Not for some military contractor, not for some country somewhere else, right? But for us, the American people. It's something that you haven't experienced in a long time, if ever. Yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, of course, I'm talking about this terror attack in D.C. And what I personally believe is that it was a deep state attack, part of this Bring Back Bush operation that began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is a part of that. The video that the Congress people put out is a part of that. And this incident in D.C. is a part of that operation. And just to recap what I did at the beginning of the show, then I'll get into the new stuff, just the abbreviated version. You can go back and rewind and hear my open where I detail this. But I believe they were trying to create another Kent State. They were trying to get a gunfight going where civilians would have been killed with friendly fire from National Guard troops to turn the public against President Trump's position on using the National Guard in American cities to fight crime, to fulfill the video. That's my premise of the show today. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. The president posted this to Truth Social. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries, well, that's almost everybody, to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. Terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country. Denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. Wow. This is awesome. This is what I mean about having a president that's there for us. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. That's the President of the United States. Whew. See, that's why I support Trump having a third term. There's too much that has to be fixed, right? He needs that third term, really, to get it done. Here's another clip. This is the president in this press conference yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. See, here, the lighting here, you get to see, it still doesn't do it near justice. Not even. You start to see the different color. See how white it is? The Mar-a-Lago wall. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. And, see, if this operation would have been successful, this deep state operation, what would the dialogue be today, right? When I say they were trying to create another kid state, they were trying to get a firefight going where civilians were killed by the guardsmen in friendly fire, right? And in their mind, that would have turned opinion against President Trump, and people would have started calling for pulling the guard out. So a lot of people may wonder, maybe you haven't even thought about it. Why are the liberals, why are the Democrats, why is the deep state so obsessed with stopping, ending crime in these blue cities? Why? See, everything the Democrats do is to keep the American people divided. Everything. Christian against gay, right? Even gay against trans these days. White against black. Hispanic against whatever. This is what they do. And they like the crime in these cities because it keeps division going. Get it? All right. I got a lot more to share. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Not on the radio live. There's a best of running on the radio. This is a special edition of the program because our female guardsman died at the hands of this deep state terrorist, and that's why I'm here with you right now. We're processing what happened and what these evildoers. This is part of the Bring Back Bush deep state op. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pasadena.
All right, Pasadena. What's on your mind? Hold on,
Hey,
Pasadena. Let me answer these other lines. Yep, go ahead. Yep, go ahead, Pasadena.
Brian Craig.
That's me.
So, what about January 6th? If you're so concerned about the Capitol, what about January 6th? Did that not concern you?
January 6th? It's not here yet. I mean, it's only November 28th. What do you mean?
No, don't play smart. Don't play dumb with me. You know what happened.
Tell me what happened. I don't know.
What happened.
I know what happened, but I don't know if you know what happened.
Was it Antifa, or was it the FBI, or was it peaceful people? Which one is it? You guys got to pick one.
It was a mix. You're talking about January 6th. It was a mix of the deep state. Well, of course, the FBI was involved. There were over 200 agents in the crowd, and Antifa and other leftist groups. That's correct. But I don't understand. But see, then? on this program, we're talking about news and events happening now. Why are you talking about events that happened many years ago?
Well, because it happened in D.C. It happened in D.C. And you're so concerned about it. And you think adding 500 more National Guard troops is going to have anything? You think that's going to... And what about... National Guard
troops stopped this terrorist from killing more people on Wednesday. You're aware of that? Of course he's a terrorist. He's an Afghan. He's a Muslim from Afghanistan that was working with the CIA. And by the way, he yelled Allah Akbar when he killed the guardsman. When he shot the guardsman, he was yelling Allah Akbar. That's not terrorism to you?
Okay, so all right, how do you feel about Trump making a deal with the Taliban right before his term? And
I don't understand. So we're dealing with something. We're dealing with something that you're uncomfortable with. That's your side, killing a National Guardsman. So you want to go through this list of things with Trump until you hit on something? That's not how I roll. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey. And I was calling, too, because the liberals seem to forget that during the Iraqi war under Bush, where they claimed there were weapons of mass destruction, later in years, Colin Powell claimed that the intelligence gave them misinformation.
Yeah, British intelligence.
Also under Obama, and also under Obama, he operated airstrikes in Pakistan and Somalia and Yemen.
Okay.
And then Biden caused 13 soldiers to get killed. So they can't blame any of this on President Trump because those past presidents have given their own command to the military to do what they
what I'm telling you is
wanted.
This terrorist, I mean, that last caller wouldn't even agree this was a terrorist. The guy's Muslim. He's from Afghanistan. He worked with the CIA in Afghanistan, and he was yelling Allah Akbar when he shot the guardsman on Wednesday in D.C. But he won't call it. The other guy doesn't even know that's terrorism. Listen.
I do believe
everything you said is correct, but I want to try to focus in on what's going on now in D.C.
I understand, and I do believe he was a terrorist, and I do believe the Traitor Six should be charged. And
I agree with that. They should be charged, and Kelly should be recalled to duty. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. Once, twice, you missed your chance. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian, and we'll be right back. Listen, those of you with the green wall, if you go to my main stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video I play. The link is in the description. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. All right, we're covering this attack in D.C., which I believe was a deep state operation. That's the Operation Bring Back Bush that began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. A lot's happened in between that we've been covering. And this was to fulfill the prophecy that these traitorous Congress people put out in that video almost 2 weeks ago. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello there. My name is Sal.
This call will be recorded. This call is no longer being recorded.
Sorry about that.
I'm not talking with somebody that's got apps running on the phone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Emil from Los Angeles.
Hey, Los Angeles. What's on your mind?
So, is the economy good again?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought people were losing jobs. The cattle farmers giving $40 billion to Argentina.
We didn't give $40 billion to Argentina. That's not true.
Oh, was it? Oh, my bad. It was $20 billion. Right?
No, we didn't give $20 billion either. In fact, we didn't give 20 cents to Argentina. That's not true.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to know the truth?
Okay.
Do you want to know the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. But no, I'm not going to go through a laundry list with you. You said where are you calling me from?
I said Los Angeles.
There's no place, if you're looking for good paying jobs, Los Angeles is the best place to be right now. There's more job openings in Los Angeles than any other major city in the United States. You are aware of this, correct?
What do you? Okay, so I don't know. You're like flip flopping
because of the. No, I'm not flip flopping. In Los Angeles because of
isn't LA technically?
Is LA technically what?
It's a blue state. We're dangerous and.
No, there's. Why do you think? Why do you think I say? I'll give you the answer if you don't know. I say if you're looking for work, there's no better city to be in if you're in a major city than Los Angeles, California right now. Why do you think I say that?
Oh, dude, I work HVAC.
I didn't ask you for your work history. Why do you think I say that Los Angeles is the best place if you're looking for good paying work or work of any kind? Why do you think I say
that? Blue states are the best to work at.
No. The reason is because of the deportations in California. There's a lot of job vacancies. A lot of people have been deported or are not showing up for work out of fear of being deported. So there's more job openings in Los Angeles right now probably than in the entire history of Los Angeles.
Wait, since you know so much, do you know how much immigrants give in taxes that goes towards Social Security?
No, they're not paying. If they're here illegally, they do not have Social Security numbers that are valid, so they're not paying into Social Security.
But why? But they pay taxes.
No, sales tax don't count. You can't if you don't have. If you're undocumented, how do you pay?
If you're retired,
how do you pay taxes if you're undocumented?
Okay, through where you have to. If you look it up.
Oh my goodness.
No, look it up. Why don't you look it up?
No, I don't have to look it up. I got you. If you're undocumented, how do you pay taxes if you're undocumented? You have no documents.
Because there's a W-2 forms and they pay their taxes.
Those are fraudulent forms and numbers if they have them.
How do you know they're fraudulent?
Because they're undocumented. Why if you're in the country illegally, you don't have valid work papers. That's why that's part of what makes you illegal. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
LA public schools
but
people.
They don't benefit. But
what?
They don't benefit.
Of course they benefit. They're sucking off of our system. Economy? Yeah, the illegals suck off our system. Of course they're benefiting. Well, Americans like me, we're the ones that don't benefit.
Well, what do you do?
What I'm doing right now. I'm a professional broadcaster. This is what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I broadcast on.
That's what you do?
I host a morning show that's on a whole bunch of FM radio stations. And I also live stream on YouTube and have a podcast. My podcast is ranked 150th in the United States out of podcasts. And, of course, I'm on YouTube, and I host a morning radio show.
What did you do before that?
I've been a professional broadcaster since I got out of high school. I've done this my whole adult life.
Well, you know what? You don't have that many followers. I mean,
I have over 120. I have over 120,000 followers on YouTube alone. My podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, is in the top 1.5% of podcast listener-wise in the world, globally. And in the United States, my podcast is ranked 150th without any corporate backing or anything like Rogan and Ben Shapiro and stuff have. So no, I have hundreds of thousands of people. I have millions of people who listen to me each and every month.
So what do you think about when X, had that?
You keep bringing things up, and I shoot you down. But what about this other thing?
What do you think about the faith?
This is what I think. This is what I think.
Do you think the economy's good?
Yes.
Do you think the economy's good right now?
Yes, it's excellent. It's booming.
Well, why did Trump fire the person that?
I'll tell you how I know it's booming. Before I started this program today, I'm in Florida. I'm on the East Coast. So I went out to Starbucks, and I was on the road. This is the day after Thanksgiving, right? And do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Oh, hell yeah, I love Thanksgiving.
Okay, so I'm
American like you too.
I know, yeah. You're not an American like me. I promise you that.
No, I'm more American than you.
You're more American than me?
I'm more American than you are.
How's that possible?
Yeah, by 1,000%.
How are you more American than me? What are you, an Indian?
I don't believe in fascism like you do.
How are you more American than me?
I don't believe in fascism.
You don't believe in it? I mean you don't support
January
it?
6th and
well, I want to finish. I want to answer your question. You had asked, is the economy doing well? And not only is it doing well, I know it's doing well. I'm on the road. It's about 10 minutes to 5 a.m. I go to Starbucks this morning. Might have been 5 to 5. The road was packed, like rush hour level. I couldn't believe it. You know why the road was packed? It's Black Friday, and people are out shopping. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You hung up on me.
Yeah, I'm done. I moved on. I'm done talking to you. You can call me another day. But
no, why? What?
Because I'm doing a show here, and I'm not talking to incoherent people entering the show. No.
You're scared of hearing the truth.
The only thing I'm scared of is you boring my audience to death. But if you call me, you're welcome to call me on another day. But if you call again, it's one call per show. If you call back, we'll never talk again. You'll never talk to me again if you call back one more time. Okay?
So I won. I beat you. I won. That's all I wanted to prove to everybody.
If that gets you through the day, tell yourself that. Yes, if that gets you through the day, you keep telling yourself that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Daryl calling from Atlanta.
Hey, Daryl, what's on your mind?
I have so much, I want to say, empathy, sympathy for this president and what he has to deal with.
Oh yeah.
From the milquetoast Republicans that won't support him the way they should support him, to the communists on the left.
Absolutely.
When I look at this thing, nobody wants to start at the genesis of what caused that shooting. It started with sleazy, sleepy Joe, allowing all of these people, all these illegals to come into this country. I know. I heard President Trump said 20 million. I personally, I believe it's more than that. I believe it's probably about 30 to 40 million.
Yeah, maybe.
That have entered this country illegally.
Maybe.
And the guy from California who didn't understand that if they're undocumented, there's no way that they're legal.
Exactly.
That they can be paying
if
taxes.
You don't have documents, you're not paying taxes, right?
Exactly. I mean, and you made an excellent point when you said sales taxes don't count. You see, because that's what they want to. That's what the idiots on the left wanted to do. They want to say that they're paying taxes. Like they don't say sales taxes because that's what they really mean. So I'm this president, he's gonna always have my support because I believe he's the greatest president this country's ever had. At least I can say that in my lifetime on this earth.
Absolutely.
And I've been on here, and I've been here for 63 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I say, President Trump, keep on doing what you're doing, and then and kick it up a few more notches.
Exactly.
You have a good morning, man.
All right, take care. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to share some more. This is, again, from the president's press conference yesterday. Mm-hmm. Dope. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my goodness. These people on the left, you blame all Afghans. The press, they think they're so smart, and they're just as dumb can be. All right, let me see. I got a lot of others. I played this at the top, but for those that are just tuning in, I mean, this is just sad. It sure is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Samuel. I'm calling from the D.C., and I just wanted to say, doesn't it concern you that Trump got sexually blackmailed by Mossad and pimped his daughter out on Epstein Island?
None of what you've said is true,
really
and here you
your
are.
Vote doesn't really matter, and all the people who pretend to compete.
Excuse me, if you're not going to let me speak, we're not going to talk, okay? If he's really calling from D.C., that's what he's worried about. His city is under attack. Did you hear the anger in that guy's voice? Just the complete anger, just total rage in that caller's voice. D.C. Think about it. If there was a terrorist attack in your city, would you have your anger where his was? I don't think you would. What the left have been doing, I wanted to, this is, J.D. Vance is the front runner to be the second MAGA president. Whether President Trump runs in 2028 and J.D. runs in 2032 or whatever, he's first in line to be the second MAGA president. And they're out there trying to destroy his reputation. And I'm not going to let that happen. This is Joy Reid on a podcast interview a few days ago. Keep in mind, they're talking about a widow whose husband's assassination was in 4K, seen by more people than any other assassination in real time. Okay, let me rewind it, and I want to break this down a little bit. Where does she get that from? If you've been to a Trump rally, the MAGA movement is the most diverse political movement this country has ever seen. You go to a Trump rally, it is ethnically diverse, skin color diverse, religiously diverse, gender diverse. It is, and here you have J.D. Vance, who's in an interracial relationship, that we support him, right? Who would be supporting if it's a movement that's based just on racism, as Joyless Reid here says? Why would we have as our front runner for the second MAGA president, the vice president, in an interracial relationship? That doesn't even make sense. And the front runner to be the second MAGA president is JD, but who's in place after that? Another non-white person, Hispanic, Marco Rubio. So what she's saying just makes no sense. Everybody in the base of MAGA supported him and support him still today. It's not that we're obsessed with non-white immigrants, she says. No, we don't support illegal immigrants being here. Now, most of the illegals, not all, but most of the illegals that are coming into the country are not white because they're coming from South America. But there are white illegals that are deported too. Not that many because there's not as many here, right? There was a woman from the UK who was deported the other day. Okay, so now here's the other thing. The things they're saying and doing to Erica Kirk, what they're trying to do is they're doing a preemptive takedown of the second MAGA president, J.D. Vance. They're accusing J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk of having an affair. Okay? That's why they have this fake story that she's pregnant, but she was impregnated after Charlie was assassinated. That's not going to last too long because she's obviously not showing. And they're implying because Erica Kirk hugged JD at that event that JD impregnated her. But she's going to say it. She's not saying it's happening, but she's just saying it. Oh my goodness. Potty mouth on these women. Really? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Brian? I'm Walker from Texas.
All right. Oh, really? Are you a Texas Ranger?
No, but I'm from Texas. My name is Walker. I'd appreciate it if we could stop with the jokes and, get to it.
Oh, okay, Walker from Texas, who's not a Texas Ranger. What's on your mind?
I mean, I know. I know. Literally in first grade, this is what you get. Anyway, we'll move on. I'm just curious. Do you have like one thing, like anything, negative, any criticism of the second Trump administration? Is it all like hunky dory? Any issues whatsoever, or like where would
President
you
Trump? No, I always approve of President Trump. I've never disagreed or taken issue with anything President Trump has said or done. And
so
it's been over 10 years.
Not one criticism, like not one thing you could think. I mean, my own mother, there's things I could think of that I wish
the only thing, if I could tell the president one thing, is he works too hard, 20 hours a day to make America great again, and he works too hard to make this country great again.
This, and I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
I take that back. I did disagree. I do disagree with him on one thing. I disagree with President Trump on one thing. It just came to mind.
I'd love to hear it.
I disagree with him when he says, "I'll never get tired of winning." He says, "You're going to be sick of winning. We're going to be winning." So no, I'm not tired of winning. Sorry, Brian, Mr. President. I got to disagree with you on that.
What are you doing, man? This is pathetic.
Mm-hmm. I'm pathetic. Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted. I just can't imagine any person or any institution that I couldn't levy one criticism against if I was being honest.
Of President
Trump? Makes me think you're being dishonest.
No.
How dishonest?
No, it's been over a decade, and I support. See, what you got to understand is this: everything President Trump is doing in this second administration, the never-Trumpers shot him in Butler to try to stop him from doing it.
Brian, I mean, you can't like 100. You don't see how if everything's perfect 100% of the time, there's nothing you change. You don't think that you're just following everything and taking that as gospel rather than thinking for yourself and thinking, oh well, maybe I have an opinion that would contradict what's happening at the top.
Well, I will say this. You did say one thing that I think is really awesome. You just acknowledged that the gospel is the truth. So I'm glad that you acknowledged that. That's not what I was saying. Yeah, you said I take it as the gospel.
I was using an allegory. No, Brian, hold on. That's not what I said.
Okay, you don't believe the gospel is the truth? You don't believe the gospel is the truth? Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, now you're completely diverting. This is really sad, man. I mean, I asked you, my one question, that's all I'm asking, is there one thing you would change or like one disagreement you have? You clearly don't. That's okay. That's all right.
Oh, it is in America to have my opinions? Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad.
No, yeah, it is. I mean, you really got the better of me on this one, man.
Being in Texas, you should be a big fan of President Trump in Texas, since he stopped Invasion USA, of which Texas was on the front lines of that.
Yeah, I think closing the border is one of the few things he's done well, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, there's a lot.
What do you mean one of the things?
Much more that's done to him.
You don't support the big beautiful bill that made the Trump tax cuts permanent that you, I'm sure, take advantage of. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. All these things, these are all great things.
Brian, none of these things have manifested yet.
Well, because it's not January. No, the big beautiful bill goes. Excuse me. The big beautiful bill has that we haven't done our taxes yet. The taxes
Brian, I didn't
you
ask
file
you
at
about
the
the
beginning.
big beautiful bill. I asked you if you had one criticism of the.
I'm not. Well, listen, it's my show, and I'll talk about what I want on the Walker, who's not a Texas Ranger show. You can decide what the topics are. Okay? Oh my goodness. Oh, boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's Jack in Wyoming.
Hey, Jack in Wyoming. What's on your mind?
You know, there's one thing I think people... Number one, look at Joy Reid's shirt. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Anyway.
I did. It's class act, isn't it?
Yeah, outstanding. I think one thing that people are overlooking... I was in the military. I'm a retired police officer, and I notice things and I remember things. You remember back, Jimmy Carter and a few other presidents have sent these military for these Meals on Wheels with no ammunition. They didn't have rounds in their weapon.
When?
They weren't issued.
Where?
Oh, Jimmy Carter.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the embassy in Tehran. Yeah, when the Iranians took the U.S. embassy, Jimmy Carter would not allow the Marines to have ammunition in their weapons that were guarding the embassy in Tehran. That is correct. That's how they took it from the Marines. They had no bullets. That's correct. They had guns they could throw at them, but they had no bullets. You are correct, yes.
Yes, sir. And Donald Trump made dead-gun sure that wasn't going to happen again.
I was surprised that they had live ammunition, the Guard in D.C. I was surprised at that.
Actually, I was, too.
I was like, wow, that's awesome.
All right, well, have a good holiday, my brother.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to take a quick break. If you're on hold, stand by. Got a lot more to cover. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. It is Black Friday. If you want to support all of my content, go to MyPillow.com. There are huge Black Friday specials going on. 50% off the MyPillow towels with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets. I have the towels. I have the sheets. 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets, okay? They are 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And these sheets are amazing. I call them the Goldilocks sheets because no matter what time of year, whether it's in the 50s this morning here in South Florida, that's the dead of winter for us. or if it's the hot time of the summertime. With the Giza Dream Sheets from Mike Lindell, you're always the perfect temperature, just like Goldilocks. They're 50% off. The MyPillow My Slippers, $39.98. Look at all these Black Friday specials. The 5-pack children's Bible story pillows from Mike Lindell, just $29.98. Blankets, comforters, socks, huge sales. The kitchen towels, a blowout sale on the MyPillow themselves, just $17.98 for the MyPillow that started it all. The MyPillow cross necklace, okay, comes in 2 different styles, 50% off, all with my promo code Kane. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout site-wide. Do your Christmas shopping. And those of you that are regular listeners, you know that Mike Lindell has been sponsoring my early show before the radio show the last couple of months. And to keep that, please go to mypillow.com and take advantage of these huge Black Friday specials. I'm approaching the end of the month, obviously. I'm going to find out next week if they're going to continue through December. And if we do well this month and in December, in January, I'll be able to make it a permanent sponsorship. So please do your Christmas shopping. There's plenty of time. Go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for these huge Black Friday specials. All right, to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. By the way, those of you watching, there's a best of show running on the radio today, so you're getting an exclusive podcast here this morning. What's up, JJ?
Well, I was just wanted to ask you, with the eyes of the Ranger are upon you, how are you doing this morning with that Texas Ranger?
Oh, you mean Walker, who's not a Texas Ranger? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
that
goodness.
Guy.
I mean, he couldn't even think of a. He's trying to pass himself off as a Texan. That's the only name he could think of.
It's pretty funny. I said when you said Walker, I had to chuckle a little bit. It's good to have a little bit of a laugh. I mean, yesterday, being Thanksgiving was, I was very thankful for so many. Had a really wonderful Thanksgiving. Thankful for God, family, country, Trump. Very thankful for him and. Just good people, and then obviously very sad about Sarah. For me, when I look at I look at any soldier who dies, any righteous soldier. I believe she was just as righteous as they come. I believe they ascend, and they're basically with Saint Michael. They're in the army. He's the guardian of souls. I know you know who Saint Michael is.
Well, how long have you been listening this morning, JJ?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, shame on you. We're approaching 2 hours. We're approaching. Okay, let me just recap what I opened with.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm just teasing. Let me recap what I opened with, because I'd like to hear your thoughts. See, I believe this was a deep state op. As soon as I heard this Islamic terrorist from Afghanistan worked with the CIA, and there's stories coming out about his living situation in America. This is a companion piece to that video that the Congress people put out, that CIA video a couple weeks ago. And I believe they were trying to create another Kent State. They attacked the guardsmen. They were trying to cause a firefight in an area with lots of civilians in D.C. on a very busy day, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And they were trying to get some friendly fire incidents of civilians killed by National Guardsmen to turn public opinion against Trump using the Guard in our cities. I think that's the big deep state op is what I think. But what are your thoughts?
Well, look, the CIA uses deranged, unstable men to do sort of deranged, unstable things, really, to do evil stuff. And, there's whether that guy was, maybe they did something to him and kicked him out, but that caused him to go a little crazy, or either way, I mean, I believe you're right on that. I think it's sort of isn't it sort of it's just one big, gigantic, cascading deep state operation with regard to everything that Trump has done. They're pulling out, to me, they're just pulling out all the stops. I mean, this seditious six. But, I just believe that the federal government, they're part of the friggin' they're like the R&D division of the deep state cartel. They're just, there's so much evil going on, but we have these, Trump is, I think we're winning against the evil, but we're still, we're in a fight. And it really does boil down to right versus wrong, good versus evil. But I do think this guy just being associated with the CIA, I mean, they know how to control their dogs. You know, they know how to move their pit bulls.
Out of all the Muslims in the country, a CIA Muslim? Come on.
Exactly, in Washington, D.C. No, I mean, when I think about that, well, as soon as you mention the CIA, and I did hear that yesterday, I'm just like, okay, you know, they find people that are capable and they know have done evil, demonic stuff. They know that they are that way, but they control them on a leash here and there, and then, you know, they use the shock collar, whatever, however you want to. Then they set them loose, and who knows what they did to this guy? You know, the way that he got in here is pretty pathetic. It's just, you know, but I'll say this about Trump. His post, I saw part of his post yesterday, or whenever the heck it was, about, and I think I heard you play it, or I saw it on the TV when I was going in and out of the kitchen. To me, that was one of the best posts, because it was like he's channeling the Constitution, the preamble. When he mentioned domestic tranquility, we're getting back to the roots of our, you know, when he said that, that's what Trump is doing. Trump is he's simplifying things. Here's you know, this was the plan, and it's a work in progress. It always has been, but there are evil people that are trying to destroy us, and I just love that he's gonna get rid of. Just stop it, put a pause on everything, which is, I wanted to see that for the longest time.
When you look at the video that Congress people put out, it was like what a lot of people call predictive programming, right? It was foreshadowing this incident.
Yeah. Well, what they put out was just total. I mean, you know, the CIA. One of them. It was an operation to stir up trouble, to put doubt in every link of the chain of command, and that, well, wait a minute, what's an illegal order? I mean, most of the enlisted guys, they don't know what they just follow orders.
That video, the context of that video, they were talking to the soldiers in the National Guard and being sent to American cities. That's who they were talking to.
Yeah, well, them and, I mean, you know, when they do something like that, Brian, yes, I believe that was directed at them. It was directed at an operation that they had underway, but at the same time, every soldier in the world, you know, heard that. Every soldier in the world heard that.
Absolutely.
And it's just incredibly, it's 100%, that is, I mean, sedition is not a direct action. It's a verbal, it's kind of almost like fire, you know, in a theater when there's no damn fire there. It's pretty much exactly what it is, but in a military sense, you're causing the junior officers and then the enlisted men hear this and they're like, "What is this? I don't." Well,
listen, JJ, I gotta move on, but I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk again. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. This is Slotkin, the CIA congressman. This is, you know, people in the CIA should not be in government. There should be a law against CIA people holding office. This is her a month ago. This is before that video dropped, okay? Before the video dropped, so this is a month ago. Okay. So she was off by a couple of weeks, but a month later, we have this CIA Islamic Afghan terrorist shoot 2 guardsmen, murdering one of them. All right, if you'd like to call in, I know it's tough. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, hold on. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Hope your Thanksgiving and everybody else's Thanksgiving was great. Mine was great.
Awesome.
Anyhow, it's really annoying to see that there's so many people that go against, I would say, the 87% majority who love what President Trump is doing. You got these people just haters. They just don't appreciate anything. And that one caller called when you asked him, when you don't like that in Texas that they closed the border, almost like it was sounding like he was breaking his heart to say, "Oh yeah, he did something good finally." You know, like, man, unappreciative. Anyway, the main thing I was calling for today is I heard that DeSantis now with ending the taxes is having a hard time with the Republicans who are putting in provisions that they're hoping, that's all saying, yeah, we want to end taxes. But they're putting these dumb provisions in that are never going to get the 60% majority. Like, for instance, one of them is you have your house for 20 years, you still pay school tax, but not real estate tax. And after 30 years, you don't pay any tax. But meanwhile, most people don't have their house that long. So I think most people aren't going to vote for that. And that's going to kill the whole damn bill. And this is just something he's working on now to try to stop that. But I'm hoping everybody will contact their people in Florida.
The property tax is going to be on the, they plan on it being on the ballot, and it's 50-50 whether it passes. They're going to work so hard to convince people that they're going to lose every service and everything else if there's no property taxes, and the renters will vote against it out of vindictiveness to the landlord. It's not going to be an easy thing. To you and I, it seems like the easiest thing to pass at all. No more property taxes in Florida, but sadly it won't be easy.
And they're making up these dumb stories that, first of all, the only tax that's going to be not paid is for people who are permanent residents. If you have a corporation, if you're a snowbird, you still have to pay the real estate tax. It's only for people with a homestead exemption.
That's right.
And then they said, where's the money going to, extra money?
And by the way, so if you own multiple properties, you only have one homestead exemption, so you'd have to pay taxes on the second property.
That's right. Yeah. So, it's not going to really change. Plus, all the waste that they uncovered in all these counties, like one woman, they're putting billions of dollars into nonprofits.
We have so many, and how many damn dog parks do we? There's a dog park in my area. They have, they've got one part of it is for massive dogs like Great Danes. Then they've got for big dogs that are not Great Dane size but Doberman size. Then they have the medium dog park. Then they have the small. And they might even have a teacup one. But there's at least 4, maybe 5 dog parks at the same park. I mean, come on. How many dog parks do we?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, give and take.
Ridiculous.
Exactly.
They know how to waste money. And that one woman who's on the legislature is on the board of a nonprofit. And she gets them $100,000. Well,
listen, I want to move on, Doug, but I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving. We'll talk soon. This is Jen Psaki on MS Now. MSNBC is now. MS Now. MS Now The left-wing cable network, formerly known as MSDNC or MS-13BC. See, now they've gone to a whole nother level. The soldier, it's not, you shouldn't follow illegal orders. Jen Psaki's guest is saying they already are following illegal orders, so the military should rise up. That's what she's saying. Oh my goodness. Lieutenant Calley. Lieutenant Calley was involved in a massacre in Vietnam, if you want to look that up. Okay, so the reason I shared this is what the liberals are telling us is that when they're in power, if they get back in power, Pete Hegseth and others in the administration are all going to be arrested and tried on war crime charges, guys. That's what they're talking about. It's pretty frightening. I'm going to take a quick break. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll be right back.